Hey guys, I wanted to make a quick 2-minute leatherworking tip video on something I think you guys might find helpful, or I hope you guys find helpful. So when I'm sure most of you guys are cutting leather, you probably use a ruler to cut a straight line. And ruler it's helpful. It definitely keeps the blade in a straight line this way. But I find when you're cutting thick leather, like this veg tan leather, it might keep the blade straight this way, but it doesn't keep the blade straight this way. And I find what happens is your angle on your cut isn't a perfect 90-degree angle. So it requires, like here, you can see it's not on a perfect angle. So this requires a ton of finishing work to get this back down to a 90-degree angle. So ideally, you want your initial cut to be as perfect as possible. So instead of using rulers, I find that if I use this instead, it's much better. I believe these are called aluminum flat bars. You can get them at Home Depot. They're very cheap. They come in lengths up to 4 feet, I believe. This one is a 1-inch by, well, this is only 12 inches long, but I cut it to 12 inches because I only wanted a 12-inch one. So the reason why these are better is because if you see, they're a lot thicker. These are 1/4 inch. This is a 1-inch by 1/4 inch. As opposed to a ruler, you can see the difference. So what this does, it allows the blade to stay straight this way also. So that's the first tip. Use these instead of rulers. Again, they cost very little. Something like this is probably $2 or $3. Another tip is that when people use a ruler, a lot of times, or when I used to use a ruler, it would slide, especially when you're cutting thick leather. What happens is the blade, when it digs in, it tends to wander. So as you're cutting, it'll push the ruler out of the way, and your line won't be straight anymore. Even when you're not cutting thick leather, even when you're cutting thin leather, the blade will sometimes dig into your cutting mat and push the ruler out of the way. I know some people put sandpaper on the back of their rulers, but I found that didn't always help, and it damages delicate leather. Definitely damages patent leather, but also any leather with a finish on it. The sandpaper is going to destroy the leather. So what I found that works better, I coat the back of these flat bars with, it's called TPU, and in its regular state, it doesn't feel any different, and it's not going to help the bar from sliding. But if you just warm it up a little bit, you could use your hand to create friction, but I use a lighter. Let me see if I could find where my lighter is actually. Okay, so I have my lighter. So if you just warm it up a tiny bit, just go over it 2 or 3 times, and then push it down, now it's stuck there. It's not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, if you listen, you could probably hear it unstick. Let me see if you could hear it. But yeah, and after maybe 30 seconds, it's not sticky anymore. So this only stays sticky temporarily, and I find it really helpful. It doesn't damage the leather at all, doesn't leave a mark, and yeah, I've started coating all of my measuring tools with this on the back to keep them in place, and it's been great. This will ensure that your blade doesn't move at all. Because I found that before I started coating this, if I was cutting something, I would need to be standing basically directly over it, putting perfect downwards pressure. If I was cutting something large where I needed to reach across the table or in an awkward area where I couldn't put perfect downward pressure, the ruler would just slide out of the way. So this definitely helps with that. You just warm it up a little bit and then just stick it wherever you want it, and it's not going to go anywhere until you want it to move, and you would just peel it off. Yeah, so that's my 2-minute leatherworking tip. Just something else I wanted to mention. In a previous video, I showed these tools that I made for sharpening leatherworking tools. If you didn't see that video, you could find it in my video section. These are great. I find they sharpen everything. all sorts of skivers and bevelers, and watch the video if you haven't seen it. But I mentioned in that video that I'd be making a couple extras of these to give away, and I have 2 extras that I made. So I'm going to be giving these away to subscribers in the comments. So if you want one, just comment with an email address where I could just contact you to ship these out. And I'll be making more in the future, so just stay tuned for future videos. I'll be giving away more of these. Alright guys, that's my 2-minute video. Hope you enjoy it. Subscribe. Thank you.